Hey everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope your Thursday went well out there. As I'm shooting this video, I'm doing the same thing I did when I was shooting a video last Thursday. The weather's changing right now, and we have storms coming through later this evening. So, yeah, I'm just getting settled in for a nice, hopefully, rain and thunder shower storm this evening. But today I want to talk about nuts and seeds on my raw food diet. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate if you go down and hit that subscribe button now. Then be sure you click on the little bell and click send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Also down below always, got my store down below, rawtropicallivinggear.com, wearing one of our logo shirts. Got a number of vegan designs, a couple of yoga things in there, so go check it out. And also, too, the Facebook group I'm doing is down below, too. It's just kind of like a basic beginners raw type group. It's not too heavy. We don't have any argument and that kind of stuff. But if you want to check it out, you can request to join there. All right, nuts and seeds on my raw food diet. I get asked about nuts and seeds all the time, and I just see so many people struggling with that. I see so many people, that's what's bringing them down. More so the nuts than the seeds. You know, it's always been my practice. If I want to do something, I learn in a very simple way. I'm kind of ape-like, you know, apes, monkeys. They learn by mimicking and emulating behavior. And that's kind of what I try to do. And that's what I like to suggest to people. When you're doing anything, doesn't matter about this lifestyle or whatever, when you want to do something, look at what, and this is in your opinion, look to what you consider successful and emulate those people. Simple as that. There's no, look, let's put it like this, that I'm not telling people, every time I get into one of these talks about nuts, you see people come out of the woodworks and they get angry, and you see a little bit of that addiction there because they want their nuts. I don't have that much use for them. It's not like I'm saying they're evil, you know, this or that. I just don't really have this much desire for them. But going back to what I was saying, and I've noticed this through 7 years, and this covers YouTubers I've watched and some that are rather big. People that have brands, people on Instagram, people in groups, whatever. I've noticed one thing. The people that are succeeding on this lifestyle, the people that are, you know, that are not carrying excess weight, that aren't constantly telling you I can't lose the weight, that are doing the best on this lifestyle, are not scarfing down a bunch of nuts. I don't care if you want to hear it or if you don't want to hear it. Fact is fact is fact. You're not going to find, and there will be an exception, of course, but you're not going to find people out there that are scarfing down nuts that are thin or that are height weight proportionate or that are not sluggish or that have plenty of energy, because you just can't eat that amount of nuts. Now, I'm not saying, okay, you shouldn't touch the nuts, because that's what a lot of people do. They don't eat any nuts and they go the opposite direction. It's bad for you. I use nuts and seeds, but I've learned how to use them, and that's the only way I really want to use them for the properties that they possess. Now, nuts are I don't care about them whatsoever. I totally use nuts just for pretty much nutrition and one or two other things. Okay, I have cashews. Cashews, basically, I don't eat them very often. In fact, I couldn't tell you the last time I used, yeah, I did. I made a recipe, but it's been at least 3 weeks ago. I don't know when I'll eat cashews. Maybe I eat cashews once a month. Then when I do, it's not like I go, you know, off the rails and eat a huge amount of them. I think I put half a cup in the last recipe I made, or one of the recipes I did for that. But that's one of the few nuts that I really use for anything other than, you know, just the properties they have, like the vitamins or whatever. And I will soak them. I don't eat enough nuts. You know, when I do eat nuts, I just don't eat enough. I know people soak your nuts and seeds, but I don't eat them enough to fool with that. But for the cashews, I'm usually using them in a sauce or a recipe, so I do end up soaking them. Now, one nut that I am back on eating a lot, and I wasn't finding them for a while, and luckily that little market that I go to and get produce, they actually have the whole nut. Little FYI for you, Brazil nuts are not actually a nut, they're a seed, and I eat these mainly for the selenium. Selenium is crucial to many of our bodily functions, inflammation, controlling, eliminating inflammation is one. But the selenium, yeah. So I, keep a few of these around. I don't eat a whole lot. And when I'm talking about eating them for their properties or their, for what they're actually good for, you don't need all that many. I'm talking about like eating two Brazil nuts. Probably all in all, I eat 6 or 7 Brazil nuts a week. Maybe I could eat a little bit more of that. What else do I eat? I do eat some walnuts just because I do like walnuts a little bit, and they're called good brain food. They're supposed to be rich in antioxidants. They're another source of omega-3s, but don't use them really all that much. I eat them from time to time, but mainly I'll use these for a recipe. I use it in my food processor and make mock hamburger meat or mock taco meat when I'm doing that. But that's about it for the nuts. I have no desire anymore. I couldn't tell you the last time I've put an almond in my mouth. I used to eat them. I used to give myself permission to eat them from time to time. Like I'd even eat a whole bag of them. Sometimes watching a movie on Netflix. It just kind of naturally disappeared. I have no interest in almonds, really zero interest in almonds, other than maybe I do know some stuff that I had made in the past that I might use it in a recipe again, but zero interest in almonds. And pecans I like, and pistachios I used to be absolutely insane about. Just don't really have the taste for them anymore. I think if you're eating clean, I think this stuff just naturally drops away. And the reason it drops away is because you're not continuously scarfing it in your mouth. Like people say, oh, I just can't stop eating the nuts, because you won't stop eating the nuts. As long as you keep eating the nuts, you're going to want the nuts. Seeds though, I really am big on pumpkin seeds these days. I started using pumpkin seeds. I think I even talked about that in a video recently. I started using pumpkin seeds regularly a couple of weeks ago, and I'm being pretty good about that. I'm getting them in. I don't have them every day, but I do have them quite often. Now, when I'm talking about pumpkin seeds, and I actually looked up a little bit of the nutrition here, they're not, I don't use that much. I like imagine your hand being cupped like this, and I kind of usually will just fill that little hole in the palm of your hand like that and dump it. Most of the time I dump them in a smoothie. Sometimes, and I may start doing this because they actually go a little bit, they don't have as much fat. They don't have as many calories as the cashews. So I've got a couple of little recipes that I think I can, it may not taste exactly the same, but I can use pumpkin seeds instead of cashews, and that's always good because basically, I mean, these are really good. I could be sitting around eating them all the time. I got my notes right here. A half a cup of pumpkin seeds, and that's a fair amount right there. Half a cup of pumpkin seeds has 150 calories. It has 6 grams of fat, and it has 6 grams of protein. It's high in fiber, but one of the things I like a lot is it's high in magnesium. Did I mention that? For the Brazil nut also is good for magnesium, but the pumpkin seed especially good in magnesium. Magnesium, we're always talking about the calcium, vitamin D, and it's really kind of the magnesium that kind of helps bring all that stuff together. I can't explain that, but magnesium is uber important, and I've wondered at times if I'm getting enough of that as I've looked back through various foods that I do eat, and I'm like, I might could use a little bit more magnesium in my diet. It's high, what did I say? High in fiber, high in magnesium, and a great source of zinc, which men need a lot. That's just going to help it. If you don't have any lead in your pencil, gentlemen, that might be something that you're lacking. Well, and also too much fat in the arteries and what have you. But zinc. So like I say, I've been having the pumpkin seeds quite regularly. Actually, knowing now that they don't have any more fat than they do, and no more calories than they do, I could actually put a few more in there than just that handful. But once again, I don't want to go nuts. I'm just doing it to get that magnesium, to get that zinc. Or when I do every once in a while decide to use them in a recipe. They do taste good though. They're tasty to sit around. It's a nice little snack to pop in your mouth. It might be a transition off the nuts because it's close enough to nuts and seeds, but it's not so bad. So if you have a problem with the nuts, maybe switch over to pumpkin seeds and see how that goes. But once again, like I say, they're just not, I mean, you know, there's this big thing about them, and to me, they're just almost like a non-subject. Because, as I say, I think as your body progresses, if you are doing the work, moving ahead, your body's continuously detoxing itself, getting cleaner, I think a lot of these things that we craved before and wanted will just kind of slip away. And if the cravings are never slipping away, you got to kind of do a little detective work and ask yourself why. Is it because you're just simply reintroducing them into your body all the time? So if you keep reintroducing them into your body, yes, your body is going to crave that. But anyhow, like most subjects, I'm somewhat in the middle. I'm not over here. I'm not over here. I'm not like, yeah, you know, I'm not scarfing down tons of them. I'm not saying, oh, they're bad, you shouldn't eat them. They have their use, like most things. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.